The UK economy is on the brink of collapse, and most people have no idea. In the past year alone, inflation has surged to a 40-year high, energy prices have reached record levels, and the housing market is teetering on the edge. This isn't just a prediction, it's happening right now. The signs are everywhere. Households are struggling to keep up with rising costs. Businesses are laying off workers, and the government is drowning in unsustainable debt. But what's causing all of this? Why is the UK economy facing such a drastic downturn? And what does this mean for you? From skyrocketing energy bills to stagnant wages, the challenges are piling up, and it's only getting worse. The reality is, we're heading toward a crisis that could impact your job, savings, and daily life in ways you never imagined. The question is, are you ready for what's coming? The UK economy is on the edge of a cliff, and it's not going to get better without serious change. In the next few minutes, we're going to dive deep into 10 critical reasons why the UK is on the verge of an economic crash. These factors are not only real, they're already affecting millions of people, and if you don't act now, it could hit your wallet harder than you think. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear might change how you view the economy forever. Number 1. Inflation is out of control. One of the most pressing issues facing the UK economy right now is inflation. Over the past few years, inflation has risen at an alarming rate, affecting everything from grocery bills to gas prices. Essentially, inflation means that the value of money is decreasing, causing prices to climb across the board. And it's not just about the cost of living going up, it's about how inflation erodes savings and makes it harder for people to plan for the future. In particular, household expenses are taking a major hit. Everyday items like food, clothing, and energy bills are becoming significantly more expensive. Families are feeling the strain, especially those already living paycheck to paycheck. For businesses, rising costs can lead to higher product prices and even force companies to cut back on their workforce. This all trickles down to you, the consumer, with lower purchasing power. So how can you cope? First, it's crucial to budget more efficiently. Track where your money's going and cut out unnecessary expenses. Consider switching to discount stores, cooking meals at home, and finding ways to lower utility bills. Also, saving in high-interest accounts can help mitigate the impact of inflation, as it helps your money grow slightly faster than its loss in purchasing power. In this uncertain time, staying financially flexible is key. The more proactive you are, the better you'll weather the storm. Don't let inflation dictate your life. Take control now to secure your future. Number 2. Soaring energy prices. Another key factor putting immense pressure on the UK economy is the soaring energy prices. Over the past few years, the cost of gas, electricity, and fuel has skyrocketed, creating a significant strain on households and businesses alike. Energy bills are one of the largest expenses families face, and the rapid increase is leaving many struggling to keep up. For the average household, higher energy costs mean less disposable income. People are being forced to choose between heating their homes and other basic needs, like food or transportation. In fact, many families have already been forced to reduce heating usage during colder months, leading to a decline in quality of life. Businesses are also feeling the pinch, with many having to raise prices just to cover their energy expenses, which in turn affects consumer spending. The energy crisis is partly due to global factors, such as rising demand and geopolitical tensions, but also tied to supply chain disruptions and the UK's reliance on energy imports. If these energy prices continue to climb, we could see long-term consequences for both the economy and people's daily lives. So what can you do? One of the first steps is to become more energy efficient in your home. Switching to LED bulbs, installing better insulation, and using smart thermostats are all ways to lower your energy consumption and reduce costs. Consider alternative energy sources like solar panels if feasible. By making smarter choices today, you can shield yourself from these rising energy costs in the future. Number 3. Skyrocketing. National debt. The UK's national debt is another major concern that's driving the country toward economic instability. Over the past few years, the national debt has increased at an alarming rate, reaching levels that are now unsustainable. Currently, the UK is borrowing billions every year just to maintain government spending, and the debt continues to grow faster than the economy itself. The higher the debt, the greater the interest payments, which further depletes government resources. The real danger here is the economic burden this debt creates for future generations. As the debt grows, the government will have fewer options to invest in public services, healthcare, education, and other critical sectors. Instead, it may have to increase taxes or reduce public spending just to manage the growing debt load. This, in turn, will negatively impact households, businesses, and overall economic growth. For businesses, the rising national debt may lead to higher taxes and interest rates, which would make it more expensive to borrow and invest. For individuals, this means less disposable income, as the government might implement austerity measures or cuts to public services to reduce its debt burden. So, what can you do to prepare for this looming crisis? One strategy is to diversify your income sources and focus on building long-term wealth. Investing in assets that can withstand inflation and rising costs, such as real estate or stocks, could help you protect your financial future. It's also important to stay informed about economic policies that may impact your taxes and savings. Number 4. Stagnant wage growth. One of the most frustrating aspects of the current UK economy is stagnant wage growth. While the cost of living continues to rise, wages have largely remained stagnant, creating a widening gap between income and expenses. This is making it harder for the average person to keep up with inflation and increased living costs. The reality is that many workers are now finding their salaries no longer stretch as far as they used to. For workers, this is a significant issue. People are working just as hard, but their purchasing power is shrinking because their wages aren't increasing at the same pace as inflation. This results in reduced disposable income and increased financial strain. More people are finding themselves in debt or having to make tough choices between essentials like food, transportation, and housing. The lack of wage growth also has long-term implications for retirement savings. If wages don't increase, workers will have less money to put towards pensions, leaving them with insufficient savings when they retire. This growing wealth gap is particularly troubling for younger generations, who are finding it harder than ever to get ahead financially. So what can you do to combat stagnant wage growth? One option is to upskill by learning new skills or certifications that are in high demand. This can make you more valuable to employers, potentially increasing your earning potential. Another strategy is to consider exploring side hustles or freelance work that can supplement your income. By diversifying your income streams, you can better cope with stagnant wages and secure your financial future. Number 5. Housing market. The housing market in the UK is another major issue contributing to the current economic uncertainty. House prices have been rising at a rapid pace, making it increasingly difficult for many people to get on the property ladder. Whether you're a first-time buyer or someone looking to move up the property chain, the cost of housing is reaching levels that are simply unsustainable for most people. This surge in housing prices is causing frustration for many, particularly those in their 20s and 30s, who are struggling to afford even modest homes. At the same time, rent prices are also soaring, pushing many renters further out of city centres and forcing them to pay more for less space. With interest rates rising and mortgage deals becoming less favourable, it's becoming harder for buyers to afford mortgages, further cooling down the housing market and creating uncertainty about what's next. For homeowners, there is the looming possibility of their property value declining if the market shifts, leaving them with negative equity. The instability in the housing market also affects businesses, particularly in sectors tied to construction, real estate, and home improvement. As prices rise and affordability drops, people are spending less on home-related goods and services. For many, the housing market crisis can feel like a never-ending cycle of rising costs and limited options. So what can you do to navigate this instability? If you're looking to buy, research areas where prices may be more affordable and consider long-term investment rather than quick gains. For renters, exploring shared living options or negotiating rent can help ease the financial burden. Number 6. Uncertainty in global trade. One of the most significant factors driving the UK's economic struggles is the uncertainty in global trade. Since the UK's Brexit decision, the country has been grappling with disruptions in its trading relationships, particularly with the European Union. These disruptions have made it more expensive and complicated for businesses to import and export goods, which has a ripple effect on the broader economy. Increased tariffs, customs checks, and border delays have led to higher costs for businesses, which they often pass on to consumers in the form of higher prices. This disruption in trade has also made the UK less attractive to foreign investors, with fewer opportunities for international trade and more regulations to navigate. Many companies are rethinking their investments in the UK. This results in slower economic growth, fewer job opportunities, and less economic stability overall. The decline in global trade is also impacting supply chains, leading to shortages of goods, delays in manufacturing, and inflationary pressures. In addition, global tensions, such as the ongoing trade wars and geopolitical conflicts, add another layer of uncertainty. These global challenges can cause fluctuations in currency exchange rates, affecting the cost of imports and exports, which further compounds the UK's economic difficulties. The rising cost of goods and slow trade growth have made it harder for businesses to thrive, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, that rely heavily on international trade. So, what can you do? For businesses, adapting to these changes may mean diversifying suppliers or exploring new markets. For individuals, diversifying investments and being mindful of price increases is crucial in this unstable environment. Number 7. Declining productivity. One of the most concerning trends in the UK economy is the ongoing decline in productivity. Productivity is a key indicator of how efficiently an economy is operating, and when productivity slows down, it leads to slower economic growth and a weaker overall economy. In the UK, productivity growth has been stagnating for years, and this is having a direct impact on the country's competitiveness in the global market. Simply put, workers are not producing as much per hour worked, which means lower output for the same amount of input. This productivity slowdown can be attributed to several factors, including outdated technology, lack of investment in skills and training, and a decrease in innovation across industries. In many cases, businesses have been slow to adapt to new technologies and automation, which has resulted in lower efficiency. Without increased investment in workforce development and cutting-edge tools, businesses are struggling to maintain growth and profitability. For individuals, this decline in productivity can lead to job insecurity and wage stagnation. As businesses cut costs in an effort to stay competitive, they often reduce staff or limit wage increases. Additionally, a lack of productivity growth means slower economic expansion, which can delay recovery after economic downturns. This also impacts government revenue, leading to potential cuts in public services. So what can you do? Focus on upskilling yourself by learning new technologies or gaining specialized knowledge in your field. This can improve your personal productivity and make you more valuable in the job market. Businesses should also look for opportunities to innovate and invest in technology to remain competitive. Number 8. Unemployment concerns. Despite a decrease in the unemployment rate in the UK, there are still growing concerns about the quality of available jobs. While the number of people without jobs has dropped, many of the new positions being created are part-time or temporary and often come with lower pay and fewer benefits. This shift means that more people are finding themselves employed but still struggling to make ends meet. For many, the traditional path to financial security through a full-time job with good benefits is becoming increasingly rare. This rise in underemployment, where workers are employed but not in full-time, well-paying positions, presents a serious challenge to the UK economy. When workers are earning less than they need, they spend less, which further slows down the economy. More importantly, people who are underemployed often miss out on career progression and professional growth, which can lead to a cycle of poverty and long-term economic instability. In addition, the rise of the gig economy means that many workers are now relying on freelance or contract work, which is often unstable and lacks traditional job security. This has led to an increase in financial anxiety and uncertainty about the future, as gig workers are often unable to plan for things like retirement or healthcare costs. So, what can you do? Focus on building skills that make you more attractive to higher paying, full-time roles. For those already in the gig economy, try to diversify income sources and plan for the long term by setting up your own retirement savings and ensuring that your work is as stable as possible. Number 9. Political instability. Another significant factor contributing to the UK's economic uncertainty is the growing political instability. In recent years, the UK has experienced a series of political upheavals, from Brexit to leadership changes and policy shifts that have left both businesses and individuals feeling uncertain about the future. Political instability creates an unpredictable environment where economic policies can shift rapidly, affecting everything from taxes and interest rates to public services and trade agreements. One of the biggest risks of political instability is the lack of long-term economic planning. When governments change or face internal conflicts, they often prioritize short-term decisions that can harm economic growth in the long run. For businesses, this means increased uncertainty, which makes it harder to plan for the future. Companies are less likely to invest or expand when they don't know what policies might change next. For consumers, political instability often leads to higher costs of living, job insecurity, and reduced government support. Additionally, political instability can have an impact on the country's international standing. The more unstable a nation's political environment is, the less attractive it becomes to foreign investors. This can lead to a decline in foreign direct investment, which is vital for boosting jobs and improving economic conditions. So, what can you do to prepare? It's crucial to stay informed about political developments and their potential impact on the economy. For businesses, adaptability is key. Stay flexible and be prepared for changes. On a personal level, diversifying your investments and focusing on building financial resilience can help protect your wealth during times of political instability. Number 10. Consumer confidence is low. The final reason why the UK economy might be heading toward a crisis is the decline in consumer confidence. When people feel uncertain about the economy, they tend to spend less and save more, which directly impacts economic growth. Consumer confidence is a key driver of economic activity. When people are confident in their financial future, they are more likely to make purchases, invest in property, and spend money in the economy. However, in times of economic uncertainty, people become more cautious and delay big-ticket purchases, which results in slower growth and less economic stimulation. In the UK, uncertainty over issues like rising inflation, political instability, and the ongoing effects of Brexit have led to a marked decrease in consumer confidence. As a result, both retail sales and business investments are down. When consumers hold back on spending, businesses experience lower demand for products and services, which can lead to job cuts or price increases as companies try to stay afloat. This creates a cycle of lower spending and higher costs, exacerbating the economic downturn. Additionally, low consumer confidence can lead to weaker stock market performance, as investors also pull back in response to economic pessimism. This creates a domino effect, where lower investment returns lead to more financial stress for individuals and companies alike. So, what can you do? To protect yourself during uncertain times, build up savings and focus on budgeting carefully. If possible, diversify your investments to reduce risk and stay informed about shifts in the economy. The more prepared you are, the better equipped you'll be to navigate these uncertain economic times. The UK economy is facing a perfect storm, and these 10 factors are just the beginning. The challenges are real, and if you're not paying attention, the impact could be far greater than you think. But here's the good news. You now have a deeper understanding of what's coming, and with the right steps, you can protect yourself and prepare for what's ahead. We've covered the biggest threats to the UK economy, but what do you think? Which of these factors worries you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective and continue this important conversation. If you found this video helpful and insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us keep creating content that matters. We put in a lot of effort to bring you the latest, most important insights, so your support means the world to us. Stay informed, stay prepared, and as always, thanks for watching.